But I think it's a super fun movie, and also it's one of the strongest openings of any horror movie ever.
You know, and even a scene that's based upon something as old in vampire lore as having to be invited in.
Yeah.
Still, they
make it so
much
creepy.
tension out of that scene. It's so creepy and so well done.
And what about that song? Pick poor Robin clean. That's a creepy song. And for me, this movie has always been about men just recklessly making decisions that commit women to things without asking them first, then changing their minds.
Welcome to Fright Club Live at Gateway Film Center here on the campus of Ohio State University. Thanks so much for coming. We got a great one tonight, one we've been waiting to show for a while, and a great topic as well. And she is Hope Madden, by the way.
George Wolf.
And we are from madwolf.com and Fright Club Live here once a month at Gateway for the last, 11 years now?
Yes, this is our 11th year.
Man.
That's insane.
And somehow we've never shown this movie.
It's true. It is. We've tried a couple of different times to show this movie. As we do one real classic every year, and we finally were able to get it this year. And what fortuitous timing, because it completely changed what the topic was going to be because we got it in 2025.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And it's been a heck of a year for horror. How many people have already seen Weapons this weekend?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
What did you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? No, got a thumbs down
no.
up there. Okay. Did not like it. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we liked it a lot. We're still thinking Sinners is our number one.
Oh, for sure. Sinners is my number one of any just film this year. I think it's the best movie I've seen this year.
Yeah, so far. But we'll talk about that obviously because of the topic tonight, as we're showing Ganja and Hess from 1973.
That's right.
And talking about the best black vampires. And have we appreciated Hope's dress, by the way, the little Blackula?
Thank you. Thank you. I love any excuse to wear this dress.
And we should say thank you to Richard for this. We'll leave it here on the table. You guys should check it out when you come down. He made this Fright Club little, what would you call it, like a jewelry box thing?
Yeah, he says it's a little crypt.
A little crypt.
And he's adorned it with Fright Club whatnot, and it's awesome. And he's got on the back here, he's painstakingly written the last 18 months of Fright Club titles back there.
That's very cool.
It is very cool.
It makes me think of, who was that from Saturday Night Live? It says, keep your weed in there. You're going to put your weed in there.
I'm sure that's what he meant it for.
Well, you know. And also, we have to say thank you to Ginger Nuts of Horror.
That's right. We always want to thank Ginger Nuts of Horror for partnering with us on this podcast. They run it on their website as well. Jim runs it on Ginger Nuts as well and on their socials. And they also, you should just bookmark them because they just celebrate all things horror. They have a lot of great book recommendations and book reviews. They carry the Mad Wolf horror film reviews as well. So you see all of us and the other Fright Clubbers, Daniel reviews or Brandon's reviews up there. And they're also on Blue Sky, and they're a great Blue Sky follow. So Ginger Nuts of Horror is awesome, and we love them. And also, in between horror posts, sometimes he posts videos of his dogs. That's really just darling.
Very nice.
And I want to say, so I think it was last month, our friend Stacy Grover dropped a copy with us of her really excellent book of essays called Tar Hollow Trance. I keep forgetting the name of the town. And it's wonderful. I loved it. I read an essay every day at breakfast and another one at lunch and another one at dinner. And it was a delightful way to eat by myself every day while George was not at home. So I recommend that everybody check that out. It's awesome. And thank you so much.
We appreciate that. And thank you. And speaking of the books, Hope's book is out now.
It is.
Killer Pictures.
Yes.
And thank you to who came in with Robert came in with a gift.
And a gift, yes. Oh my God. It's my happy day. All the colors of Giallo, it is just all of these Giallo trailers from decades, and I cannot wait to go home and watch it. Although he says it's long, so I may have to I'll just watch it while I eat my breakfast and lunch. That's what I'll do.
And he brought a copy of the book to sign, so thank you so much. So
thank
a lot going on. We appreciate that. And we as we talk about, before we get into the Black Vampires, we talk about last time out, we talked about superhero horror movies, which is a lot of fun.
Yes. So we've been doing a couple of these really quick little video top fives. And because we are going to, by the way, get to screen Toxic Avenger on Monday, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So that's why we did the best, our favorite well, I suppose really mine. He wasn't there. My favorite superhero horror movies. And we got a couple of complaints. Hellboy, which I did just sort of leave off. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't have made my top 5 probably, but it was a weird one
It's
to
a good
leave
one.
off.
Yeah.
Darkman, I thought about Darkman. I mean, I do like that movie. I do. And that was Monty's choice. And then and it was Silas who wanted to see Hellboy. And then Nathan Andrew, Werewolf by Night. That was pretty good. That really was.
It was. I really liked
I had
that.
forgotten about that one, and
Yeah.
that was a fun one to watch. And we also did Christmas in July, best Christmas horror movies, which we've done actually many times. We covered the best Christmas horror movies before. And Dustin's favorite of all time is Silent Night, Deadly Night, which we did not mention. It did not make our list, but there are just like hundreds of Christmas horror movies.
Yeah.
So that's always tough to
Those are
choose
fun. So we'll
from.
keep doing those
But
little quick videos.
But
Yeah.
the last live one, we showed Lamb.
Yeah.
And we were a little worried. We weren't sure how that was going to go over, although it's a gorgeous movie. And it seemed universally loved.
Went
I
over
think
pretty
it
well.
Went over pretty well, yeah.
So we appreciate that. Also, I don't know if it was that podcast or the time before where I teased an event coming up, and now I don't know if you guys have seen it. It has been announced by Kappa. They are bringing in the 40th anniversary screening for Reanimator with Jeffrey Combs in attendance. That's what I was talking about at the time, and I couldn't really say because it wasn't confirmed. But now it is. I think it's November 12th, I believe, is when they're going to do it. So hopefully we will be involved. Maybe some tickets to give away. I don't know. Trying to work that out,
this
with
and
the
that,
lawyers and all
whatnot.
that.
Yeah, we're trying to
But,
figure out how we
anyway,
can weasel
put that
our
on
way
your
in, is
on
what's what he's saying.
on your calendar
Yes.
for November 12th for Reanimator. So that should be cool. So a lot going on, but we got to get to our countdown as
Yes,
we get
we
to the
do.
movie tonight. So we're talking about Black Vampires because
Yes.
we're showing Ganja and Hess.
Yes.
So you've got a few, and I love with the notes here. She's got it earmarked as bad, but watch them anyway.
Yeah, because the truth is, the films that we're going to mention there are a handful of these that are just not good, and there would be no way for me to spin them as being good movies. They're bad, but they must be watched. So, and one of them, and I wish it was good, Vamp, with Grace Jones, who's so perfect in this movie, but and I rewatched it again actually, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something, and I thought maybe it's better than I remember. It's not. It's terrible. It's terrible. But Grace Jones is so great. She's so great in it, and it's so much fun. And then sort of along those same lines actually is Queen of the Damned, which I always wished was a better movie.
Me too.
It's just
It's
not
not.
very good. But what I like about both of those movies is that the two leads, they play the original, the very first ever vampire, which makes such perfect sense to me because the first people were from Africa, so I'm sure the first everything was from there. And so I loved that, just without sort of clarifying, they're just, yes, of course, these two. And then the other one, which is also bad and really broke my heart when it came out that it was bad, is A Vampire in Brooklyn. Because I love it because it was Craven, obviously. Eddie Murphy, for sure. For me, Angela Bassett, that's the push over the cliff. I love Angela Bassett so much, and that it's just a weak ripoff of Blackula, and I just kept being so disappointed by everything in that movie. And yet, if it's on, I'm going to watch it.
But
I'm not going to not watch it.
As bad as it is, I guarantee you it's not as bad as Eddie Murphy's new movie that just dropped this weekend called The Pickup
that's bad.
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Not a horror movie, and it's not a comedy.
Just a
although it's
horrible movie.
Trying to be. A horrible movie. Well played. But so those three, bad, but watch them anyway.
Yes.
Okay, but we got 5 that aren't bad.
That's right.
And you should
They're
watch.
great.
And one we're going to watch tonight, which is awesome.
And honestly, even though we're only going to have like 5 official, they're like another 6 we're going to talk about. Because they're fun. These are really fun movies. And of course, go ahead.
And, well, we'll just get into number 5, and this is one that you were alluding to in your top 5 superhero horror from that video. This is a half-vampire, half-mortal man becoming a protector of the mortal race while slaying evil vampires from 1998. Blade.
For thousands of years, they have existed among us.
You keep your eyes open. They're everywhere. Chances are you've seen them yourself and didn't know it.
A secret nation
Our livelihood depends on our ability to blend in.
with a lust for power.
We should be ruling the humans. These people are our food.
They've got their claws into everything. Politics, finance, real estate.
There's a war going on out there. He makes the weapons. I use them.
Now, one will lead them to conquer mankind,
Tonight, the age of man comes to an end.
We're gonna be gods.
and one will try to stop him dead.
There
Worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
You're one of them, aren't you?
No, I'm something else.
Actually, honestly,
Hear the trailer?
it would be, not even for this, the trailer. I had queued up that opening scene in the nightclub in the meatpacking plant. That's what we were going to watch, and all of it's just nastiness. Oh, so sad. But anyway, and I went all three. I like all three. I do even like the third one. I do. And actually, the truth is, I like Blade 2 the best. I think it's the best of the films. But for a straight-up vampire movie, I think you have to go with the first one. I mean, I think it's just got the most vampire lore to it. Stephen Dorff makes a great evil vampire, and I love when he's outside when he's like sweaty and freaked out, but he's got all the sunblock on. You're like, oh, come on, really? Sunblock? I'm here to tell you it doesn't always work, and that's just because I'm pasty. But I think it's a super fun movie, and also it's one of the strongest openings of any horror movie ever. When they, and it's Tracy Lords, and she's like smooching on this Chad, and he's such a Chad. He's, and he's all, woo, I'm gonna get crazy tonight. And then they go to underneath of this meat packing plant, and he's like, what am I even looking at behind the plastic over there? And then the blood starts dripping, and they open up the like fire water sprinklers, and it's blood. Oh my God, it's so awesome.
That is pretty sweet.
And then they're just kicking the shit out of Chad, and he's like slipping around on the blood, and then it's just such a great pan up, and there's Wesley Snipes in all of his glory. It's just such a great opening.
See, you don't need the trailer with that kind of description. That works. Well, this was a Marvel movie, and it was the follow-up to Marvel's tremendously successful Howard the Duck. They got the green light to do another superhero, and it was Blade. And the director, Stephen Norrington, right?
Yeah.
Described it as an ode to Sam Peckinpah in his heart. That's what he was thinking.
Wow.
And kind of a Western, which, of course, violent like Sam Peckinpah.
Yeah.
You can definitely
and
see
something
that.
about Chris Christopherson.
Yes.
He's got a Peckinpah vibe about him.
Love him in here.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about him because another one of our short videos from this past week, we were talking about the all-time best celebrities that we have interviewed over the years, and he was on mine. I got to have 10 minutes, I think, with him one day.
Yeah, Chris
and that was
Christopherson.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because his character Whistler was actually created for Blade's cameo in Spider-Man the Animated Series in 1994, 4 years earlier. But it was liked so much that they made it by the Marvel CEO that they made it a full character.
I didn't know that.
Which is huge.
Look at you pulling out comic book lore.
Well, you do a little research on the interwebs, and so what you come up with. But yeah, he's great in this movie. He's a big part of it. I think.
He is great in this movie. Of course, so is Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is great in this movie.
He's perfect for it.
He is.
He's
and
perfect for it.
I know a lot of people are unhappy about Mahershala Ali still, I guess allegedly at this point, it's been such a long time being the new. I don't understand how anybody, if Mahershala Ali wants to be in your movie, you say yes.
Yeah, especially
you just say yes, please. Please be in my movie. So I don't know what anybody's complaining about.
What is going on?
I'm perfectly happy to see him play Blade.
That thing is just languishing.
It is.
Let's get on it already. So that is Blade, going with the original,
Yep.
right, from 1998, number 5 on our list of black vampires. So we'll move it up to number 4, and this is one we've talked about this a few times.
We showed it.
Yeah, we showed it from 2016. We didn't show it that not long ago, really.
No, last year,
Just a few
I think,
months
yeah.
ago. From 2016, when troubled teen Milo, who has a fascination with vampire lore, meets the equally alienated Sophie, the two form a bond that begins to blur Milo's fantasy into reality, the Transfiguration.
Have you been hurting any animals?
Maybe thinking, but I don't do it. Not anymore.
So you heard, huh?
No. Someone killed a white boy in the basement.
So what are vampires like?
I think it starts with drinking blood. Like you have a need to. Eventually that's not good enough. So you switch to animals and people.
Whatever it is you're doing, there's someone doing a whole lot worse.
Why are you avoiding me?
Who was here for the Transfiguration? I know some people.
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool? Yeah, we really liked that one.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Milo's a fascinating character, and his friendship with Sophie is tender and heartbreaking, and the whole thing, and and it gets violent too.
Oh yeah.
Then there's Milo's older brother who is always watching TV.
Yeah, he's just on the couch watching TV
constantly. It's a really interesting story.
It is. It's so quiet. and just I think really works you in that way that it's not telling you anything. You need to be paying attention because it's about family trauma and grief, as so many horror movies are, but it's not super overt with any of its themes. And I just think that the performances, especially Eric Ruffin, who plays Milo, I mean, it's such an interesting, incredibly quiet, pensive performance, and he's got such a sweet face, like a little angelic face, that even when he's doing horrible things to innocent people, you're like, what? Okay, well, I can. Then, luckily, he does horrible things to not innocent people, and you're like, there you go, you're on the right track now. And either way, he probably just needed a better parental figure.
He's so earnest in talking about what's true, what's authentic for vampires.
Yes,
he's just so very matter of fact about it. It's heartbreaking. And then he gets this friend, and how their friendship kind of builds. And then there's violence of his housing project and everything. It's a fascinating movie.
Yeah,
really
and
is.
Chloe Levine plays the girl that moves into his apartment building. And actually, we just showed Ranger, another one of a film that she's in. She's just always really good. I think this is the first film I saw her in, and she just has a really vulnerable authenticity about her performances, and it works incredibly well here. It's just a very tender, sweet, sad movie and really beautifully told.
Yeah, it's a lot different than a lot of vampire movies.
Yeah.
It's so slow. It's more understated.
Yes,
I mean, obviously there's bloodshed, but it's so much more understated as a vampire story goes.
Yeah.
But we really liked it. I think it went over well here when we showed it. Yeah, we were looking forward to showing it for a while. So that was number 4 on Black Vampires, The Transfiguration. And moving up to number 3, just check out the dress there from 1972. An 18th century African prince turned into a vampire by Dracula finds himself in modern-day Los Angeles. Blackula.
You shall be Blackula. Blackula, the Black Avenger, rising from his tomb to fill the night with horror. Blackula, Dracula's soul brother, deadlier even than he. Warm young bodies will feed his hunger. Hot, fresh blood will quench his awful thirst.
What do you think of vampires?
More horrifying than Dracula. Blackula.
William Marshall.
I love me some William Marshall, as you know.
So
I love
great.
him. I remember as I was babysitting for my next door neighbors watching Pee-wee's Playhouse, the first episode of it, when I realized that the king of cartoons was also Blackula. And I was just like, guess what we're watching later, boys? And then we watched Blackula later. His performance in this movie, and the thing is, it's a 1972 low-budget horror film, blaxploitation movie. And the makeup isn't very good, and the bat isn't very good, you know what I mean? But it's actually, in many ways, so much better than the other films that came out at that budget in that sort of time, the straight to your drive-in kind of movies. And so much of that is because William Marshall is just not to be fucked with.
Right.
You just watch and go, yeah, absolutely. If he says so, yes, this is clearly he's a vampire. What are you talking about? Yes, sure. He's so good in this movie, but it's actually a pretty good cast around him, honestly. I remember even as a kid thinking, I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I think he was a good, I wasn't like exactly rooting for him, it's like, especially, he killed off some of my favorite characters, and I was sad about that, and I'm like, oh, don't kill her. But in the end, like the way that this movie, I'm tiptoeing around spoiling a 52-year-old movie right now, but the way the film ended, I thought was so representative of the amount of respect Prince Mamuwalde had for himself that I was like clapping, like little kid. I'm like, good for you. Don't let them take you down. That's the way. So, and I also, of course, obviously love Blackula Scream because not only, so it's William Marshall and Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I know.
Those are the coolest two human beings of the 1970s, right there.
According to the American Film Institute,
that's what they say. Coolest two human beings of the 1970s.
Yes, and they also say this was the first black vampire to appear in films.
Oh, wow.
The very first one. And I think it has a lot of parallels with Candyman, because not only do you have the actors who have there's such a presence about them, the voices are incredible and such grace, but they also, if you look into some of their interviews of the time, they had a lot to say about how the character was developed.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. Yeah.
With the backstory of the character and make it something of substance.
Yeah.
Definitely William Marshall wanted to do that, and Tony Todd did the same, and I think it pays off. And this is definitely one that started a. You call it a blaxploitation film, sure.
Yes, yeah.
But it's got such cultural relevance to it.
Yes. Well,
Couldn't
the
come up
director
with that.
William Crane, he made a lot of blaxploitation movies, including Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde. He made that one, which is not as good as Blackula
What?
is. I know. Yeah, a lot of them weren't. But I remember at the time when I was a kid and I saw this movie, then I went out in search of Blackenstein, which is just fucking terrible. and like, I think I was too young to recognize that they weren't all being made by the same people. It was like, you know what I mean? It's like you if you watch like a slasher movie and you watch another slasher movie, they're not made by the same people, but they're 1980 whatever it was when I was watching these of relatively the same quality. But man, like the step off the cliff from Blackula to Blackenstein is deep.
Because
it's a steep fall.
Like any success, you're going to get the copycats, and they
for
just
sure.
like Blackula said the Black Dracula, then the Black Frankenstein, and they just kept on and on and on, and not as good.
No,
Not
and then of
as
course
good.
he made. They called it Abbey. It was originally called Blaxorcist, and then they got sued by The Exorcist. But William Marshall plays an exorcist in it, and it's got moments. It's worth checking out. I can't be trusted. If William Marshall's in it, I'm all in. But it's better than Blackenstein, that's for sure.
1972, Blackula is number 3. And number 2 is the movie we're going to see tonight.
That's right.
So we're not going to talk a lot about it. After being stabbed with an ancient German-fested knife, a doctor's assistant finds himself with an insatiable desire for blood. It's Ganja and Hess.
The only perversions that can be comfortably condemned are the perversions of others. I will persist and survive without God's or society's sanction. I will not be tortured. I will not be punished. I will not be guilty.
He's not a criminal. He's a victim.
Just a quick. I know Robert has seen it. Who else has seen this movie? Okay,
Ooh, just a
few
couple.
people. Yeah,
All right.
I'm
love
excited
that.
to show it to you. It's very 1974, and not like the exploitation horror movies of 1974. It's more like the sort of art house films of 1974. I do remember the first time I saw it, almost abandoning it like in the first 15 minutes, because again, I was a little kid. I was a kid, and just thinking like, yawn, like what's going on here? And then it hit its stride, and then as an adult I saw it again and thought, what a moron I was as a kid. So it is a really, really good movie. So good actually that, as Seth pointed out in one of his posts earlier today, Spike Lee remade it a few years ago as The Sweet Blood of Jesus.
2014, The Sweet Blood of Jesus.
Yeah, which I enjoyed that movie, but it does not hold a candle to the original. I mean, this movie it's really, really good. So anyway, we're excited to have you come down and tell us what you think.
Yeah, that's all we're going to say about that, but please come down after. We'll get your opinion. So, number 1 on the list of black vampires.
What could it be?
From this year, trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Sinners.
With all the things that I've seen, I ain't ever seen no demons, no ghosts, no magic. Till now.
Let me in, man. There's some weird shit going on out here.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
Has everybody seen Sinners? Man, It's so good. We
so
came
good.
back and saw it when they were showing it here in 70 effing millimeter.
Yeah.
Which was
It was
great.
gorgeous. It was glorious.
So gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's because it's the kind of movie that you can watch. You pick something new up
every time.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Everything means something.
Yeah.
There's so much subtext. There's so many layers to the story that they're telling, and of course the music is woven so well, and then you get the vampire attacks.
Yeah.
It's just it's the whole package.
It is the whole package. I'm not gonna pretend to be a better person than I am. I was originally very excited about this movie because Michael B. Jordan is in it twice. I'm like, all right, yes, I'm coming. I'm like, oh, is that also a vampire movie? Nice, well done. But yeah, Ryan Coogler, and this is really the first completely original because Fruitvale Station was based on true events.
Uh-huh.
So this was just came out of his brain. What a brain!
Oh,
Holy
my
cow!
God.
And like you said, I mean, everything means something. From the Choctaw that were trying to track down the Irish vampire, the fact that he's an Irish vampire, the fact that I mean, just everything about this, the time period, the detail in Annie's shop,
Mm-hmm.
the color scheme, the music, oh my God, that dance sequence when Sammy is really conjuring all the ancestors backwards and forwards. My God, this movie just has so much to say, but you never feel like it's being preachy for 1 second. All of it feels very integral to the story itself.
Oh yeah, and the characters and their motivations,
Yeah.
and the things they do that make you mad, or you're screaming for them to do this and not
Yep.
that, and yeah, it's one of those you just scan. I know the second time we saw it,
Yeah.
you're just scanning the screen to pick
Yeah.
up any little thing that you can, and then it just invites more viewings.
Yes.
And I think the second time especially, we watched some people leave early. I just want to get up and scream, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
what are you doing?
didn't
There's
stay through
there's
the
more to
credits.
come.
Yeah.
You got to stay.
Yeah. Buddy F. Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I didn't know he was going to be in it when I screened it the first time, and I was just like, yes!
Yeah, that was
oh my God, it was so great.
so cool.
It was so great. I loved everything about that scene too. I loved that his place was called Perline. I mean, every detail of that movie is so perfect.
Yeah. It succeeds on just about every level, and it just as a vampire
Yeah.
horror movie,
Oh my
it's
God,
so
yes.
satisfying.
Yeah,
but
for
on,
sure.
on so many other levels, just as narratively, and the writing is so dense,
And
but not preachy. Yeah,
One
the
of- and this is-
performances are great.
Like a relatively small thing, but in most horror films, supernatural horror films, there's somebody who figures it out first and has to convince everybody else that this is the supernatural event that we're living through right now. And I love that. Obviously, it would be Annie. She makes the most sense as a character to do it. And I also love that as soon as she said it, Wunmi Mosaka is another one who just whatever she says in anything, I'm like, okay, yeah. I buy that for sure. And so she said it is vampires. And you're all like, yep, that's right. That's right. We don't have time for you guys to argue about this. Just, kill them. I really appreciated that.
And even a scene that's based upon something as old in vampire lore as having to be invited in.
Yeah.
Still, they
make it
so
so
much
creepy.
tension
Oh,
out of
yeah.
that scene, and so creepy and so well done. Where
And what about that song? I pick poor Robin clean. That's a fucking creepy song.
Yeah, we could go on and on about how much we love Sinners, and
Loved
it
it.
is great, so great. And I could see it again.
I think we will,
especially
yeah.
if they ever have it bring it back on 70 millimeter, because that highly recommended.
Yes.
So, okay, we got to get to our movie tonight, but that's number one. That is Sinners. So we're going to watch Ganja and Hess for many of you the first time, which is awesome. So please come down afterwards, and we will get your thoughts on the movie. So enjoy.
Yes.
What do we think?
Okay, good.
Man, the camera work just kept wowing me over and over again. The camera work and the way things are framed, and then it would focus on a piece of art here or there.
Oh, yeah.
Just everything was framed so wonderfully. And of course, Dwayne Jones.
I know. It's so fun to see him in this movie because it's so different than Night of the Living Dead. I mean, he's so laid back in this one, and he's and not bound to beat the shit out of some guy in the basement the whole time. It's interesting. I mean, I love his performance in this one, but for me, I think Marianne Clark, who plays Ganja, it's when she shows up that the whole film shifts and takes on a whole new perspective. And for me, this movie has always been about men just recklessly making decisions that commit women to things without asking them first, then changing their minds. Like it was like a day later, he's like, I think maybe we shouldn't be vampires anymore. And she's like, I just got here. I didn't even ask to do this.
Right. So true.
Yes.
If I hadn't seen the name, I would not have known that was Ben from Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I was struck by how fine Ganja was when, she found her husband dead in the cellar. And then she's having dinner with the guy who killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just like horror movies, that's all.
Yeah. She's
Everybody's
an interesting
a freak.
character. I think you know who she is from that first phone call. And she never, she's sort of, her character rounds out, but she's never different than that voice on the telephone with that mink stole, and the diamonds and everything.
Yeah.
She's that same person from the end. And I love the way, and she, Dr. Hess's and Bill Gunn's character, George, they're very philosophical. They're annoyingly, to be honest with you, to me, philosophical the whole time, and she's got no time for that nonsense.
Right.
And I think that's one of the, I love the last shot so much where you just think, I think maybe she's born for this. I think maybe she's going to be really good at this.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of looking at the camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, things are going to progress. Anyone else? Any other thoughts?
I thought it was really interesting how we never learn much of the backstory. And, the most we get is that guy in the window, and, Angela's, freaking out. Not Angela. Ganja is, freaking out, and she's like, I don't know. It's just so vague. It leaves you wondering a lot, what's going on and what was the purpose of, stabbing Hess with the knife, I don't know. It's just so confusing. And I can't get enough, honestly.
It is really interesting, though, the way in almost every other, certainly vampire movie, at some point somebody explains the lore to you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's so tedious because you've seen 500 vampire movies, you're like, yeah, I got it. But in this one, they make these vague references as they're talking about artifacts and ancient civilizations, but they, at no point does anybody, and you think the time to do it would be just before he decides he's going to make her a vampire, right? He would either before or after, he would run through. So if I use this dagger because this was used by this ancient tribe, but he doesn't. And if it weren't for the fact that it's in the IMDb description of the movie, I think there's a good chance nobody would ever know who ended up a vampire. How did they do this? What's the deal here?
They do have a little bit of that text at the very beginning.
That's true.
That puts you on the road to that. But no, so much of it is like a dream and very surrealistic, and then the different types of music that's worked into it, and sometimes just very ambient, very sound effects.
The score for this is
disorienting sometimes. It makes you feel like you're in a dream, and it really doesn't. You're right. It doesn't spoon feed you anything at all.
It's only the second time I've seen this. It's a great movie. I still am always fascinated by the dichotomy. It feels like it's an exploitation film, and then it just goes in, as you say, into this dream-like, surreal Chantal Ackerman type vibe. I don't know what it is, and it works. And as you say, Dwayne Jones, great. So it just, I don't know. It has this dichotomy that just gets me every time.
I think you're right. I know that Gunn was kind of in trouble when it came out because people were expecting the next Blackula. This came out just the year after Blackula, and Blackula was very, very popular, and that's clearly not what they got.
No.
Not in any way, if that's what you were looking for. And it's interesting that it's almost like taking advantage of the exploitation sort of boom to get enough money to make a movie, and then being like, nope.
Wasn't this available only at MoMA to screen or something like that? I had read once years ago.
Really?
So, yeah, it was there was one print, and I think it was at MoMA or someplace like that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Cool.
I could see seeing this in a museum of modern art.
Oh, for sure. There's so much art in the movie, and there's so much religious iconography throughout the movie, and I think that's really when Spike Lee made his version. I think that's really what he focused the most on, is the sort of religious underpinnings of it. And obviously, it's not a Catholic mass that he goes to at the end, but so much of that, take my blood, eat of my flesh, we heard. twice a day for 12 years. I heard that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in there, but there's just a lot of things working all at one time, and then it got quiet and serene in moments, and then it will just hit you with this noises and the disorienting camera, and I was always just fascinated by the camera work and the different way he would frame things. Yeah, I thought that alone just kept me interested. So yeah, I'm glad you liked it for the most part.
I love also just the opulence.
Yeah.
It's just dripping with it. It's and I especially I think when I was a kid the first time, I could never understand why she was so mean to Archie. I'm like, what do you got against him? He doesn't seem like such a bad dude.
No, not at all.
I just one thing that really stuck out to me was the kind of the soundscape or of it all, between the kind of like the tribal chant in the background whenever like something quote unquote vampire-y is happening, or just the kind of like the monotone droning, whether it be like diegetic with like, okay, it's the pump or whatever that's in the basement or whatever, or it's just kind of ambient and just kind of there.
Yeah.
It's like very surreal and dreamlike.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely
And then periodically, obviously, there's like gospel music. There's like the church, the kids, the church choir from the kids. It is the sound design for this is fascinating.
Yeah, everything about it, all the elements. Even when sometimes it doesn't look like the budget was all that great, but still they made it work.
Yeah.
It made it just always something.
Shot on film, obviously. It looks incredible.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked it. That's great because it's one that has stood the test of time and always merits another watch. So I don't think we know, do we? What we have next month?
We don't have confirmation yet. I can give you our hope. Hopefully we're showing Jennifer Reeder's Knives and Skins as our back to school special for next month. That is our goal.
Not really an after-school special, but it's a back-to-school
special, yeah.
yeah, that'll be fun, but it's not confirmed yet. But,
no.
We will certainly let you know, and we'll get this edited here in a couple days and get it out on the usual platforms, madwolf.com, and, of course, Mad Wolf Columbus on Facebook and Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and YouTube and pretty much everywhere.
Right, and Fright Club Podcast has a Blue Sky if you want to follow us there.
Yeah, and of course a dedicated Fright Club Podcast page.
That's right.
So a lot of ways to get in touch.
Everywhere.
And we hope you will. Yeah. YouTube,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're dipping our foot into YouTube now and seeing how that goes.
That's right.
Yeah, so thanks again for the gifts. And TikTok, God.
No, we're everywhere.
I forget
My
about
God,
that.
we don't even know where all we are.
Social media thing, I think it's going to stick.
Yeah.
People seem to like it.
Yeah.
The kids.
It is stuck to us, man.
Thanks for the gifts, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Richard, Robert, thank you so much.
Yay.
Appreciate that. And glad you liked the film, and hang out for the podcast here in a couple of days. Thanks for being a part of it. Always love to get your thoughts. Glad you liked the movie. And until next time, we thank you. She is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Fright Club Podcast.
That's a good one. Thank you. Thanks, you guys.